Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Richard Lewis Brown, and today is June 11th, 2021. As you know, I work for the state of California, and as you know, I won the recent Local 1000 election. And this evening, I normally don't do Friday evening or Friday night videos because people are out having fun. But as you know, the protest period for Local 1000 ended yesterday, and some people have filed some protests. And I've been asked to comment about the article by SAC-B titled California Union Leaders Want SEIU Local 1000 Election Result Tossed, alleging irregularities. Okay. So it goes on here. At least 5 people who ran for the leadership position at California state government's largest union are urging to throw out the results of a recent election in which controversial candidate Richard Lewis Brown was elected president. Let's stop right there. Right in the first paragraph, they already are telling you these people want to throw out the election because of my controversy, because I'm controversial. And why am I controversial? Well, hold on one moment here. So, why am I so controversial? Well, I think you know why. Because I'm an outspoken black man in this country. And because I want to help everyone equally, and I want everyone to be able to vote in this great country of ours, that's controversial. So, that's why they call me controversial. And then also, hello everybody, I'm doing a video. Hold on, everybody, I'm doing a video. And also, because I want to take us out of politics, because as you know, our country is deeply divided right now. And so the Republicans is on one side, the Democrats on the other side. Both are, battling for supremacy, for power. And, a lot of things are not getting done. And so when I say bring us all together and get us out of politics for Local 1000, so we can create a strike fund, so we can control our destiny and not let politicians at the state legislature control our destiny. That way we don't have to, quote, give up our money while we're under a signed contract under the threat that they may furlough us. So, a lot of things are at play. So that's why they call me controversial. And then I want everyone to be able to be job stewards because our contract is responsible for everyone represented in that job classification. So whether they pay money or not, that contract still covers them. So you should allow those people to vote and become job stewards according to that contract. Now, of course, we need people to pay money. And, how do we create the strike fund? How do we run this organization unless we have money? So they say I'm controversial because I want everyone to be able to vote and be job stewards whether they pay money or not. But what they don't tell you is I have a 4-year degree in finance. See that? They leave that part out of here. And so, a lot of my ideas are being totally transparent and basically telling, Gavin that, I don't agree with what he has done and stuff. That's controversial because you don't ever hear a union president be so outspoken. But our union made a decision on June 2nd, 6 p.m., to give Gavin some money and taking a stance to be opposed to the recall. So they made that decision on that. So when we keep reading this, the self-styled outsider. Well, I am an outsider. I'm not from California originally. I'm from Missouri. So people don't really like my direct, in-your-face, truth-telling. Because I don't play those political games. I'm not passive-aggressive. I don't do that stuff, I'm from Missouri, so I'm a little slow. What you see is what you get from me. Okay. So then they say Brown supports the recall of Governor Gavin Newsom. That's what this thing is saying. And has aggressively attacked opponents on social media. Has aggressively. Now, I thought I was just campaigning like any other person in America with my freedom of speech. But he says that I'm being aggressive. Is it because I'm a black man he's saying that I'm being aggressive? Is it because it's the tone of my voice? Is it because I'm so direct and I'm so passionate? I just wonder about those things when they says aggressive, because he's saying this, the writer is saying this in the second paragraph. So already he's called me controversial in the first paragraph. Now he's calling me aggressive in the second paragraph. And you wonder why I say these people don't like a strong black man. And remember, our union all last summer, up through the fall, up to almost the wintertime, They had over 25 hours of racial justice, Black Lives Matter. But here he is, and he knows that Local 1000 supports Black Lives Matter. But here he is calling me aggressive and controversial. And when black men like myself hear those words being used to describe us, that's talking in code. We know what that means. And you're right, Rick Fry. I won the vote of the people, 2,637 of them. You're absolutely right. And I see you, Stephanie. I am passionate. But black men, unless you're Barack Obama, you don't get that luxury of being passionate. You just don't. And I said, I'm not going to fall to that stereotype. I'm not going to let that stereotype dictate the pace of me. I'm going to stay who I am. And a lot of people believed in that and believed in me. And after I won, they thought I'd be quiet. And I said, no, I'm not going to be quiet because I wasn't quiet in how I got elected. And so my supporters, the voters who put me in office and put me in this position to be sworn in eventually, hopefully, they said, don't you change. Now, my advisors want me to do something totally different. But they didn't put me in office. 2,637 people said, put the dark chocolate man in office. Put him in. We know he's a little rough around the edges. Put him in anyway. Because one thing we know about him, if he says it, he'll do it. So we continue reading on here. The candidates who filed protests want the union to redo the vote, saying irregularities in how the election was run and how votes were counted and undermine confidence in the result. Now listen to this. Thank you, Betty Stewart. Thank you. Miguel Cordova, a candidate for president, filed a protest Thursday alleging Brown violated union ethic policies in ways that should have disqualified him. I don't know if you know about Miguel Cordova, but I'll tell you. He's the current bunk chair for 21. And when he ran for VP, Secretary Treasurer in the last election, who did he run with? Yvonne Walker. So even though Yvonne's not protesting, this person who ran with her last time is. Okay? And so he's saying election irregularities, but he didn't call that last time when he ran with her. He didn't say that. And so he's saying that my ethics. Now let's talk about ethics. I've never lied to you. I've never tried to manipulate you. But he's talking about my ethics because of my strong, intense campaigning, because I'm exposing these people for what they are, for the corrupt things, for the fraudulent things, for the fact they don't care about you. That's why they say I'm aggressive. And then because I'm black, it intensifies this. And a lot of people say, well, don't use the race card. Let me tell you something. This country was started on money and race. And I've told you once, and I'm going to tell you again. My family did not come over here as free immigrants. They were enslaved Africans. You don't like that? Then you can go vote for someone else. You can go support somebody else. But don't ever ask me to back up off my passion, because then we won't be talking. Now, ethics. Miguel Cordova, when he lost the last election, you said, well, did he go back to working? No, he didn't go back to working. He's been on full-time union leave for well over 10 years. You said, well, how did that happen? He ran for an office. I see you, Angela Pruitt. Thank you. He ran for an office with Yvonne Walker. He lost. Did he go back to full-time work? No, he did not. There was a vacant DBER spot in his DLC. I think it's 765 or 764. Don't quote me. It's one of those two numbers. And he got appointed the vacant DBER spot. Now, the president of that DLC didn't want to appoint him that. And they pressured her so much that she finally just resigned. And so the chief steward of that DLC became the president. Now, I want you to hear me on this. That chief steward is Miguel's wife. So she appointed him a DBER spot. And then when the SBAC happened in July, he made it back to the bunk and became the bunk chair again. So he never lost anything. That's exactly what he's going to do this time. He'll be appointed back to his DBER spot. If it's not a re-election, if they throw all this out, his wife will appoint him back to the DBER spot in his DLC. He'll run for the bunk, and most likely he'll continue to be the bunk chair. See, Wes doesn't know all this information. See, Wes doesn't really care for me, but that's fine. I told Wes, look, I know you don't really like me, Wes, and you're going to write things up the way you want about me, and I'll just have to deal with it. So on good days, you'll give me a good review. On bad days, you'll give me a bad review. but I'll be okay, and he'll be okay, and we'll make this work together. But this is how these bunk chairs get down. So Kim Coward is attempting to do the same thing. I don't know about Louisa Luma. I want you to remember this when I told you this. They're already game planning for this next SBAC. They do not want me sworn in. And so when I was telling you they're doing everything they can to keep me from swearing in, this is part of it, okay? So they're game planning, they're huddling. They don't think that I know all this, but I do. See, I know so much. As much as I run my mouth, I hold that much more back. And then when it's time to let it out, I let it out. So since he wants to talk about ethics and my behavior, then I'm going to talk about him and talk about the things he's doing. Because he's not going to tell you. He'll tell you that everything he does is perfectly fine. You know, he voted to give Gavin the money. I mean, the person put the vote up on Facebook. So when these people tell you that it's me that's wrong, but they're the ones giving away your money, you know, and I see a lot of people watching tonight. And I know Local 1000's watching. I know Miguel's watching. Yeah, I want you to watch. Because you've been talking all this stuff about Black Lives Matter last summer and all this racial justice. And I said all along, you people ain't all you cracked up to be. I said this over and over, and no one believed me. But when these cops came to my house on May 25th, and I'm still trying to get that 911 dispatch call, and you're giving me the blues at the police department to get that, they're saying they're going to send it to me now. We'll see. I haven't gotten it yet. At least I've not checked my last email. I hadn't gotten it. But my life could have been shot up that day. I could have been killed on May 25th after beating the 4-time incumbent Local 1000 president, the largest public sector union in the state of California. I could have been shot the very next day. Did Miguel call me? What about Yvonne? What about any of these Local 1000 leaders? A couple, but none of these presidents called me that I can remember. Oh, wait, I take that back. An incoming president did call. I think 2 did. But these people don't care about my black life. So the same people who are talking about this racial justice, social justice, let's have these conversations that went well over 3 days, didn't call to see how I was doing. You know, I see you, Ryan Luth. They're protesting because they lost. They're protesting because they are afraid. Well, they know that when I'm sworn in, the status quo is over. That's why they're protesting. But they're talking about ethics, my behavior. And I'm telling you, no. They don't like the fact that I'm calling these people out and that he could not intimidate me. Now, this is Miguel Cordova. Now, let's get to the next group here. Three vice presidential candidates who campaigned on a slate with Cordova filed protests alleging violations of elections, procedures, irregularities in the voting of the votes. Wow. So that means Louisa, Kim, and Tara Rooks. Tara Rooks is the DOC president for 769. Now, that's up there in Folsom State Prison, Tara Rooks. I know about you, Tara Rooks, and I know what you did when I was campaigning up there because they came back and told me, and that's why all those people voted for me up there because they weren't going to vote for you, Tara Rooks. So we talking tonight. We talking tonight. And you don't see me yelling. Oh, no. I'm dropping bombs tonight. I'm dropping it on you. That's Tara Rooks. Kim Coward's huddling right now trying to get the votes in bargaining unit 17. Louisa Luma, I guess she filed along with it too, about these election irregularities. Do you know why I didn't know about this election irregularities? Hold on, Louis Rudas. I'm going to get to that in a second, about the Republicans and Democrats. All these election irregularities, do you remember the person that was posting that on Facebook initially? Do you remember who that person was? You're looking at him. Remember when I told you about that secret email that went out and I posted it and then Tony Owens ran off and did a protest right away on that? And then when they were counting those votes, I was the only person that was checking them and asking questions and making notes. And Miguel Cordova sat right there and smiled in my face along with his team. They smile. Were they there for themselves? Were they there for Yvonne? Hey, who knows? I'm not a psychic. I can't read minds. I can read hustlers, but I can't read minds. So he sat there and I was questioning him on all those things. And all these things that they're questioning came from me because I have a long protest letter all written up. But what they don't know, I really got it written up. See, I got some real stuff, but I ain't saying anything because I want to see how these people play themselves. And now that they're trying to protest this, you realize the news media is already, Fox is excited. They want me to swear in so they can get me on TV. They're just dying. I mean, I'm serious. But now that you're protesting this, you're going to make them even more more excited to bring me on. But it ain't going to be just that news station. It's going to be all of them. And I'm going to expose all of these people for what they are. Because when they do that forensic audit, it's going to really go back in some years. And that's another reason why they don't want me around. Because when you do that forensic audit, and you can find out where that money was being spent, and who was taking trips and staying in hotels and buying homes and all that. See, right now it's just speculation. We don't know what the truth is. But you get the right team in there to do that forensic audit. We don't care how much you throw away. We'll catch it. I'm just putting it out there. Now, we're going to keep reading here. Kevin Healy. Oh, let's talk about Mr. Kevin Healy. He's the guy, the DLC president, I think 746. Now, he's the guy that is alleging about irregularities. He's the same guy that called the police, to verify that the police came to my house because he questioned my integrity. That's Kevin Healy. Now, a few of you have sent me some stuff about him. Now, you guys send me all this stuff that I'm supposed to read and analyze, talking about him being disbarred from the state of California and all that. I don't know if them documents are real. I mean, you guys send me this stuff off the internet. Anybody can post stuff up on the internet. They say he was disbarred, he had bad behavior and all this. I don't know if that stuff is true. But you send it to me and you swear to me that those are legal documents. That's what you guys say. And I try to read through it, but I'm not an attorney. But he's questioning, the ethics, even though he's been disbarred, allegedly. Maybe I don't know. If someone if someone knows an attorney that can read legal documents, I'll send you what was sent to me. That attorney can look at it, and then he can call me, or she can call me and say, this is what he did. This is what they found. This is the absolute truth. I don't know, because everyone throws stuff at me. I don't know, but he's on here, and I thought he won his election, but maybe he's still not satisfied. Here's an issue. Just saying, I'm in my best Mississippi accent, Richard Wake. Oh, Gina Madrid. It's okay, Gina. We gonna be all right now. Don't you worry about nothing. Okay, so listen. We read on down farther here. A committee of 3 people appointed by Walker is responsible for vetting the protests. I don't know who the 3 people are. I really don't. I don't know if they can make an independent decision. Yes, Pete Perez, I need your prayer. I don't know if these 3 people can make an independent decision. And then it says, under policies, union policies say the protest committee must mail its decision to parties of the protest by June 25th. By June 25th. Under the policies, listen to this. This is important. Under the policies, because I guess this time, Local 1000 is actually going to use the policies. Walker would remain in office until any outstanding protests are resolved. If the protests are resolved, Brown would take office June 30th. Now, some people say, Richard, she's going to be in there all the way through the recall election. I know. I'm not mad. I mean, it's Friday. It's Friday evening. I'm not going to act a fool on Facebook on Friday evening. You guys want to have fun. You're probably having a drink right now. You're probably playing with your kids, watching TV. I'm not going to act a fool. I'm just going to give it to you. And I'm going to put a smile on my face. I see you, Mary Dela Cruz. All right, you got on. Okay. So it's a good thing that she can still be in office. Now, what they want to do is disqualify me. If they disqualify me and they didn't do a re-election, who took second place? Yvonne Walker. She would stay in office. That's the other thing. See, this is not about Republicans. This is about Richard was the winner of the race. You know what? Let's go back to this for a second, because I'm trying to get through this. Here, I'll read a little bit more, and then I'll get to the Republicans and the Democrats. Unfortunately, this is me saying unfortunately. Walker, through a spokesman, declined to address the protest letters to confirm whether she had appointed a protest committee or to disclose how many protests had been filed. And when I tell you she won't call me to let me know there's going to be a peaceful transfer of power, and she won't tell me the exact day that, I see you, Stephanie Harrell, thank you. She won't tell me the exact date I'm swearing in. She can't even tell the news media about the protests of the largest public sector union in California. Now, they were quick to tell you about, helping Gavin, giving him that $1 million to help him, to protect him and his, and his family. They were quick to tell you that. They were quick to tell you about giving up the money. So some things she's quick to tell you and be very transparent. And then on other things, She doesn't want to tell you anything. At least when they swear me in, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything. Now, I want to talk about that Democrats and Republicans, because that's a hot button issue. The Democrats won the White House, and the Republicans said the vote was cheated. Everybody has an opinion. Now, here in our union, we're run by Democrats. Everybody, these leaders are mainly Democrats that I know of. I've won the election, and now they want to throw the election out. They don't want to accept the election. This is what Louis Rudolph is saying. Both sides are always complaining when they don't win. And this is why I said, yes, Pete, call me after 9, because I have to get up in the morning and go put my run in. So that's good, Pete. Call me in the morning. But after 9 o'clock. When neither side wins, they want to fault the other. And this is why I said our union can't be involved in politics. You can't spin with the Democrats like you always do, because you're alienating half your union. That's why we have over 40-some thousand people who are, yes, Louis, hypocrites, who are Republicans or non-Democrats. And they're not going to spend money to the union. They're not going to pay money to the union if you're involved in politics that violates their core beliefs. And this is why I was offering to pay someone's membership so they can vote in this election. I wasn't trying to get them to vote for me. I said they can vote for anybody they want. But they've spun this around. Okay, Pete, sounds good. They spun this around and said, I was trying to buy a person's vote. What I was saying is, you have to vote. I see you, Meech Block Sherrills. I don't care if I love that you're a registered Republican. I love everybody representing our union. So they were trying to say I was trying to spin around. They're trying to spin my words around and say I was trying to buy a vote, but I wasn't. I remember I was arguing all last summer with somebody on Facebook called Scout B. Smith, and I said, you have to pay to vote in our union. And he said, no, you don't. No, you don't. But now when I was trying to pay someone's membership so they could vote, now they're saying I'm trying to get them to vote for me. I'm paying for them to vote for me. You see how they turn the narrative around and they're always talking that stuff? I said, talking that shat. Okay. So here we go. About 7,900 union members voted among the 54,000 who, as dues paying members, are eligible. The union represents some 100,000 state employees. I say 96,000. They're saying 100,000. The spreadsheet I ran from 2019 was only over 96,000. Listen to how I said that. The spreadsheet I ran and the emails that I created, because there's this big hoopla about, I see you, Roxy Shaw, about the $1 million bribery. I didn't say that, you did. But I created my spreadsheet and I created my own emails. So when people were saying, how do you get all our emails? I created it. Listen to how I said this. I created my own spreadsheet and I created my own emails. I didn't change anything. I create. Listen to how I said this. Words are powerful. Listen, there's a number in my mind and it's not coming to me. Oh, here it is. 2,637. If you add those numbers up, you get the number 18, right? 268 plus 3 is 11 plus 7 is 18. You know why I got 2,637 votes? Do you know why that happened? That's God telling me that you really won in 2018. Okay. I'm telling you, these numbers have power. And all this came out today, what they did yesterday. It came out today on 6/11. June 11th, because they're so scared of me. They're trying to silence my voice. And my first two numbers is 7-4. That adds up to 11. Okay, let's keep going. Here it goes. Since losing the election in May, Walker has led negotiations to restore state workers' pay, which was reduced last year amid gloomy budget projections, and scheduled an emergency meeting in which the union voted to donate $1 million to help defend Newsom from a recall. Now, you know why they did that. And, once I'm sworn in, we're going to have an emergency meeting to set $2 million aside for the people in Lansing County. Because, this idea that they're going to be protected when they lose their jobs, that's not true. They're going to try to move those people down to the other prison, High Desert. But if they can't, they'll get put on a list, but they'll be unemployed. Here we are under a signed contract, and the job is not relocating out of the country. They should not be losing their jobs at all while under a signed contract. What kind of leadership do we have? And when I call for this emergency meeting, they're going to vote that down as no. They're not going to give $2 million because they're already telling you that in the PAC money, we don't have $2 million left. Really? Really? So you're telling me there's not $2 million left in the PAC money after the $1 million you gave to Gavin. But you're telling people that the money came from COPE. Which story is it, people? See? You keep talking to me, I'll catch you in your lies. I'll catch you. And that's why I told you I have divine destiny. And when I had that dream from God last summer that I was the president, I was praying to God through Jesus Christ. Not just formally, but informally. In people's hearts, they know I won and I'm the president. And formally that I won. And it showed me in the big room. And I was talking and all those people were like vultures. They were mad at me. They did not want to work with me. And so when all my advisors are telling me, build my alliances, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second, about building these alliances with these people who are already gathering together to take a vote of no confidence to get me out of office. But they didn't think I knew. But when too many people are telling me things, then I know it's the truth. So all these alliances, none of these people want to work with me. And when I say none of them, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Okay? Once I'm sworn in. Now, if we keep reading here, the SEIU election protest, Cordova said Brown violated provisions in the Code of Conduct section that requires candidates to offer constructive alternatives to existing policies, be truthful, and to conduct themselves in a manner which brings respect to Local 1000. Your word respect is subjective because my supporters said that I did respect them because I told them the truth. Okay? He's saying that I didn't offer any constructive alternatives. That 10-point platform, where is these other individuals' brochures? Where is their stuff? I'm offering you a 10-point platform, and maybe, just maybe he's upset because I told you don't vote for this guy. Now, my brochure was printed, union printed, okay, on 8/27/2020. They couldn't even get your contract printed after it got ratified by the legislature on October. Governor Gavin signed it on October 13th, 2019. It took them over a year later until November of 2020 to get your contract printed. But he's talking about me not giving constructive alternatives. But that's a lie. See, and he's talking about, my manner because I called these people out for being frauds. See, he didn't like it. Here, I'll read down a little bit further here. He said, proposals from Brown to do things like allow non-members to vote in the union elections and to distance the union from parent SEIU organizations. SEIU organizations are not constructive. That's his opinion. When does he become the total person? Like what he says and what he thinks is how it should be for the union. Obviously, people didn't believe in him. He didn't finish in second place. He didn't. If he was so constructive, then why did he have to leave Yvonne Walker's side? If he was so smart and so intelligent, why couldn't they work together anymore? Because he's been following her orders for years. What happened there? Did his constructive alternatives mean that he had to leave her? Doesn't sound like he's very loyal to me unless they had some type of side deal to where he runs on the side to split the vote. I'm just putting it out there. See, this brochure kind of laid him out. And when he says here, he said video recordings made by Brown and posted to Facebook in which Brown questioned Walker's tenure as a U.S. Marine and made other attacks on candidates showcase violations of the elements of the code. What I did was call people out for what they are, hypocrites and liars. So let me talk about this for a moment. I did say that she wasn't a real Marine because I don't think she honored our country. I just don't. You say, well, what gives you that right to say that, Richard? Because I'm U.S. Air Force. I'm a veteran talking about another veteran. And us veterans of the military, sometimes we have disagreements, okay? There are veterans who don't like what General Flynn did. And there are veterans who support General Flynn. But we're veterans. We put our lives on the line. So if you didn't put your life on the line, maybe you should fall back. And when I said that she did not put her put the country in front of her own personal interests, I relayed that to the union as my constructive alternative. Okay, when she held that 22-hour marathon session on June 26, 2016, to get that salary stipend, that showed me how selfish she was. I see you, Louis Rudolph. I see you, Marine. That showed me how selfish she was. And that's why I said that, because a real Marine would not do that. A real Marine puts their life on the line. When this country goes to war, when they want to send that message, send those Marines in. And then when you want to send a message of a lifetime, you come from the air with air supremacy. And that's where I come from. When I come to get you, you've been got. And like I told you, I would get her. All these other people, all these years you tried to beat Yvonne Walker. Oh, you're very welcome, Mary Dela Cruz. They all tried to beat her, but they all failed. But me. Because I failed the first time, failed the second time. Did I really fail the second time in 2018? I'm not afraid. That's why they're trying to silence my voice. And they're trying to stop me at all costs. Because they're scared of me. Semper Fi, you got that right. So, that's right, Louis. And that's why I questioned her Marine service. That's why I did that. Miguel Cordova wants to talk about, conduct. What about his conduct when he got, he went back and got his DBER spot appointed by his wife? What about that conduct? I guess that's all good because, he knows everything. He's so superior to everyone else. Is that what it is? Okay. I'm just saying. Just getting started this evening. So then it says here, that campaign goes against everything that represents us, either through our bylaws or our Constitution. Really? When you give up people's money under a signed contract, does that violate anything? When you refuse to go on strike, when they authorize to go on, when they give you the strike vote to go on strike during the furlough fiasco, but you're too scared, does that violate anything? I'm just asking. I see. Why didn't anyone complain when Yvonne was doing irregular stunts to get reelected every time? That's exactly right. Yvonne and Miguel Cordova was right by her side. You're absolutely right, Angela Pruitt. But this is Friday night, and I know they're watching. Let them watch. Let them do what they got to do. My faith in God will not be questioned, and it will not waver. I know I won this election, and everybody across America knows I won this election. And the only way they don't swear me in, if they don't swear me in, everybody will know because did not play along with the game. And then they'll know who the real leader is of Local 1000. And even if they don't swear me in, everybody's going to still come to me and ask me my opinion. My platform won't change. I'm just telling you this. Everything I told you on Facebook, when I told you who was running on September 25th, 2020, those entire slates, I was not wrong. Yeah, I know we didn't do anything wrong. But when I talked about them slates running, I was not wrong. All those extra people surprised me. But the information I told you, everything I've told you about these people, remember when I told you that MTC said they weren't going to take the salary stipend and they took it anyway? Is that some type of code of conduct? I guess not. See, people pick and choose what they want to talk about. Are you going to visit the border? Well, right now, Scuba Michael, the only thing I'm doing is trying to make sure I get sworn in. So I'm staying focused just on this particular conversation. Now, if there are state employees represented by Local 1000 at the border and they feel like they're being ignored, and I've already gone on record for saying that I'm going to visit every work site, then I'll be at the border. So I don't know if that, if it ties into Local 1000 as far as us representing our people, then I'll be everywhere. If that means I got to climb the top of a mountain here in the state of California to see a state employee to let them know that I care about them and I'm not going to ignore them and I'm going to return their phone calls and emails, then that is what I would do. Okay, so here we go. Brown offered to pay the dues of non-members so they could vote in the union election. Cordova also took issue with that offer, likening it to paying someone for a vote. Now, I've already told you, people in DMV already know that Brenda Ferguson was giving out lotto tickets so they would vote. Now, she didn't really tell them who to vote for, but you get somebody a lotto ticket, then you can say, well, hey, who do you want me to vote for? So what she's saying, and all I'm trying to do is get you to vote, period. I just want you to vote because if you notice on Facebook, People were saying, I can't afford these dues, which is why I say we have to reduce dues by 50%. I can't afford to pay these dues. And I said, well, I'll pay for you for this membership so you can vote in this election because it's that important. And people took exception to that. You know why they took exception to that? Because they didn't think of it themselves. Because they're doing it on the sneak, doing it through other stuff. You know, like you said, giving out free food, doing this, putting you on union leave. They do all that sneaky stuff. I do it right out in the open, right in front of you. Remember they were telling you that I'm trying to destroy the union and I'm trying to get everybody to be job stewards and I'm trying to get everybody to be dues paying members and create a strike fund, but yet in the same hand, I'm working with the Freedom Foundation to destroy the union. Which one is it? Which one is it? I mean, for once, I wish my critics would get their lies straight. So I want the people of MTC, Yvonne's people, all the other people, I want y'all to get together and get your lies straight. Or maybe you already are working in sync and your lies are already coordinated so you can get me out of here. Maybe you're already working that. And maybe that's why I'm distrustful from everybody who's calling me. Maybe that's what it is. Because my heart keeps telling me, you can't trust nobody. You run on your own and you'll be on your own. That's what my heart keeps telling me. People tell me that I'm wrong. Okay. And then it says here, reach by phone Thursday, because I always take people's phone calls. I take the news media's phone calls, and I know they're not going to give me good reviews. Currently, they're not giving me good reviews. They're coming. And Brown characterized the protests as race-based attacks. This is me talking. They're saying that by me taking office, I may undermine the union, he said. Once again, this is an attack on me as a black man in this country. And as a black man in this country, I'm going to fight. I'm going to keep fighting for what is right. That's the story of the black community in America. I'm not talking about the sisters and brothers who get high on crack cocaine, high on heroin, and throw their lives away. And I'm not faulting them. I'm not. I still love them very dearly. But the black community, we fight for everything because we've been fighting from the time we landed in this sucker off that slave ship. And I know a lot of people don't like when I say this. Get over it. Because I'm not going to leave my love for the black community. See, a lot of people was questioning me when I said we shouldn't be involved in Black Lives Matter. And we shouldn't. In my public life, as the incoming, hopefully the incoming president of Local 1000, we should not be involved in political matters because it divides our union. But in my personal life, don't ever ask me to go against my community unless they're wrong. And, you know, all black people, we all don't think the same and feel the same about certain issues. Because there's certain issues that some black people wish I would change my mind on, but I'm not. Because this is how I feel. And I meant what I said. All this they're raising is because I'm a strong black man that's not fitting their narrative. But yet they tell you that Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter so much, then why are they coming at me so hard? Because they're hypocrites. They don't want to hear what I have to say. Because I'm not speaking their language. I'm not speaking their love language. I'm speaking that righteous language of treating everyone with love and respect. Black, white, Latina, Latino, Asian. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. This union must unify. We must get out of politics. Period. And I've never wavered in that. But they're trying to break me down. They want me to modify my behavior, modify my platform. No, my platform is my contract to you. Haven't you had enough leadership in Local 1000 breaking contracts? Haven't you had enough? That's exactly right. This is a labor movement, not no political movement, not no political union. We're going to go back. And for the first time, we can't really go back because we've never really been a labor union. We're going to be a labor union. And that's why I say we're going to create the number one union, the number one labor force on this planet. Book it. Now, call for another vote. Healy in his protest letter said union leaders improperly changed voting rules, directed an election vendor to nullify hundreds of votes, and failed to properly screen candidates. Healy won an election as a district labor council president, but is still contesting the result. He says, we need the members to know that this was a clean election with equal standards, Healy said. We're all Stewart volunteers, and we're out here trying to protect people and we have to have integrity. Wait a minute, Mr. Healy. If it's true that you were disbarred for your integrity, but yet you're talking about we must have integrity, maybe you should do a video and talk about why you were disbarred, if it's true. Since you're talking about integrity, if you really want integrity, then why is the elections committee and the protest committee appointed by the president? You would think that, she would spread out that power a little bit. You know, maybe her and the VPs could work together on that. Oh, wait a minute. The VPs were trying to take her out, so she had to sideline them because she couldn't trust them. Okay. So there was a problem there. You talk about integrity. She's the only one that has access to the membership list. She knows where all the voters are at and which DLCs. I don't know where nobody's at. I have to email everybody. Since you're talking about integrity, Kevin Healy. I mean, you talking about integrity? Really? Because there's people in your DLC that call me and tell me that you don't have no integrity. That's what they call and tell me. Maybe they're liars. Maybe you're the one telling the truth, and all those people who call me, they're the liars. Maybe. And maybe all those documents they sent me about you being disbarred, maybe all that is just a bunch of lies. I don't know. But I'm sure an attorney is going to call and read through those documents, and they're going to say, no, this is what happened to him. This is who he is. At least this is who he was in the past. Now, maybe he's changed and he's learned from his mistakes, because we all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. Kevin's made mistakes. Kevin Healy's made mistakes. There's no perfect people on earth. There's no perfect people on earth. There's some close ones. You know, I guess they call themselves Michelle and Barack. For some people, that's how they feel about them. Okay, but there's no perfect people on earth. So he's talking about integrity. Integrity. And so when she gave up our money, where was her integrity at? When Yvonne in the bunk chairs, that includes Miguel Cordova, Luisa Luma, Kim Coward, and all the rest of them, Susan Rodriguez, all these people, they decided to give up our money while under a signed contract under this pretense that we were in a $54 billion deficit. Where was Gavin Newsom's integrity? Was that really true? Did we see the financial statements? Did you ask a bunch of questions? Did the state legislators show integrity by giving up their money? Did those state legislators, except for those 5, did they give up their money to show us their integrity? Kevin Healy, since you're talking. And I'm sure you're watching. If you want to jump on here and share the screen with me, I know 2 people. Mr. Pete Perez ain't scared. He's a rough rider. And that Robert Bays, oh, he'll swing. He'll swing for the fences. He ain't scared either. What I want to know is, DLC President Kevin Healy, if you're watching, come on this video, and let's have a little talk. Since you're so smart, you have so much integrity. Okay, so as we read on here, in his letter, Healy said there is precedent for holding a revote. In 2019, one of 9 groups of state employees represented by the union voted no against ratifying a tentative agreement with Newsom's administration. The no vote would have required Local 1000 to negotiate a separate agreement for over 2,800 workers in the unit, who could potentially have been excluded from the annual raises and the new health insurance stipends. That bargaining unit is 11, and they were smart. They voted that contract down, and then they had to vote again. Now, why didn't those VPs stop that vote from going through? Why didn't they raise holy hell? I don't know. They say they're strong, you know, but they didn't stop from bargaining unit 11 from having to revote because Yvonne said they were given wrong information. Remember I did a video and I said I'm voting this contract down, and I told you the reasons why? Remember that? All those videos I did? Exactly. Where was the integrity then on that, Mr. Healy? See, these people, the more they talk, the more you hear Richard Wake and Scott B. Smith and Frank Askin and all these individuals, the more they talk, the more you realize, oh my God, maybe Richard isn't crazy. Maybe Richard really is telling the truth. And here's the funny thing. Everybody, wait, I see Kevin, do you have that talk? Say how. Come on video, Kevin Healy. Then you can explain to us if what was sent to me about you being disbarred. You can come on and say, hey, I wasn't disbarred. That's a complete lie. And those documents that was sent to me, those are garbage. And that stuff was made up. And someone made that stuff up to manipulate me so I could, get at you. Come on video and say that. Because I was sent this stuff from multiple people. So if these people who are sending this stuff to me, if they're liars and the truth is not in them and they don't have any integrity on what they sent me, then come on here and say they're liars. They have no integrity. I was never disbarred. And I have integrity. I have the moral rectitude, or whatever you call it, turpitude, whatever that legal word is. Come on here and say that, because you're a DLC president. I think you got reelected. You know, if it's in you, if it's in you. Because some people are scared of you. Some people tell me that, you know, you do all the work for Yvonne. But that's just rumor. And so why do I bring that up? Because they're so mad. And those people voted for me. And they are heated. And that's why they keep saying, it says read the public record myself. Okay. That's why these people keep saying, don't change, Richard. Now, other people are saying you have to change. But the people who put me in this position are saying, don't change. Wait, if you want the truth, just have the full say. Okay, hold on. He's coming on. Let's bring him on. I'm trying to add him right now. So, you know, I'm challenged technically. So hold on. Just bear with me. It's adding. So my internet speed just, I don't have the fastest internet speed. So we're still trying to add them. Oh, come on, phone. It's adding, y'all, but just bear with me. I'm trying to bring them on. Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Can
you see me? Can you see me?
Barely. This is the first time, so one thing we have in common is, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you see me? I see your face. My head's kind of blocked a little bit. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. So all these people are sending this stuff to me because they're asking about this SAC-B article. So it said in those documents that you were disbarred. Yeah, I'll shut my mouth. Go ahead.
Just have the fair play. As with a lot of things that are partial truth. Wait. I'm having it back. I am Paul. So I'm going to talk through an echo to me. I don't know if it's doing it to you. First, I want to clarify something. Everything that we were talking about, you about it at home. I'm going to try this with another computer. Give me a second.
Okay.
Because I can verify that for you. I'm going to go back on a different computer.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so here.
Disconnect.
Okay. All right. So Kevin's going to call back. Kevin Healy, DLC president, is going to call back. So I'll keep reading here. Union leaders called a revote, citing a closed result and misinformation that said was circling during voting. Non-members became members, and a new round of voting got a yes vote. The protest letters also cite irregularities in the election timeline. Okay. And remember, that secret email that got sent out, that came through me. They wouldn't even know about this. Tony Owens, Miguel, Kevin Healy, they wouldn't even know about this if it wasn't for me. Okay, but I got more. And so it ends here saying, union policy saying an election committee appointed by the president is supposed to notify members of election procedures by the first business day in January. That didn't happen, and the rules and timelines for voting and eligibility changed after January, Healy said in a protest letter. Here it is. On April 2nd, an email went out from a general SEIU Local 1000 email account saying that anyone who wasn't a member had to submit, see, they got this wrong, had to submit a membership application by April 7th. That email says prior to April 7th. So it had to be by April 6th. See, that was very tricky how they wrote that. And God, I wish I had that email in front of me so I could read you the exact language. Okay, and so voting started April 19th. Brown and other candidates for president, including Sophia Perkins and Tony Owens, have said the early membership requirement deviated from the past practice, which non-members could vote and join and vote immediately. Healy and Cordova's running mates called on the protest committee to investigate the allegations that some votes were thrown out by the election vendor as they were counted in the days after the voting closed May 20th. Cordova says he shares concerns over the vote count since union leaders neither provided a number of thrown out votes nor provided criteria for why votes were tossed. He's never complained before. He's never complained before. But see, this is all game. This is all hustle. And that's why I'm talking tonight. And I'm talking real smooth. Because I know what they're trying to do. But what they don't know, they think they have all the election irregularities. They think they got everything, but they don't. They don't. And all that came from me. When I was asking questions when they were counting those ballots and they were sorting, all that came from me, the leader of Local 1000. Because they sat back and kept their mouths quiet, and they watched. And they watched me debate those people and question what they were doing. And I was questioning them. And I got a long list. I got a list longer than theirs. They just don't know yet. And I got something that's going to really put them out to dry. But they don't know. And I'm not telling you. I'm not. Because these people, they want to act like they have so much integrity, but they don't have that. They just don't have it. And I'm telling you this. Now, I'm going to go back to the election committee that was appointed and that secret email. Do you think that secret email that went out this time, that's the first time they've done that? No, that's the first time they got caught. I want to put money on it. They've done that before in the past. Who would that hurt the most? Telling the non-members that you have up to April 6th, because it says your membership application has to be received prior to April 7th. Who does that hurt more than anybody who runs their mouth while they're campaigning? You're looking at them. Because you know I had a lot of Republicans come to vote for me. And what they were going to do, and I begged them in January, I said, don't wait till the last minute, guys and girls. Sign up now. They said, we ain't signed up for that nonsense. We'll wait till April. And they said, what's the last day? And I said, well, look, if you sign up by at least May 7th to ask for a duplicate ballot, as long as they receive your application by May 7th, that should be the golden date. That should have been the golden date. And they were waiting to that period. I know they were. So when they sent that secret email out to non-members and didn't tell nobody, they really, really destroyed my votes. See, I know I had more votes coming. And I knew if that vote count went over 10,000, I got this. That's why that vote count was so low. I was like, oh, I don't know if I got this or not. I don't feel good. Because that vote count has to be big for me to win. And then I can win with a mandate. They suppressed my votes. I know they did that. That hurt me. Because if you remember, listen to the words that these candidates use. This is how I can really get at these people. They keep telling you, it's about our members. It's about our members. Oh, member-led, member-led. Yeah. What does Richard say? Represented employees. So I'm able to reach out to those non-members to make them feel like they're part of the union and get them to become members to vote. See how words are powerful? They weren't worried about getting non-members to become members. They're only concerned about people who already paid money. If you don't pay no money, they call you a freeloader. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I don't. See how I say that destroyed my vote count? Listen to this. If they decide, you know what, all this stuff he talked about Yvonne and her Marine service, she didn't complain about it, but yet Miguel Cordova is complaining. And those words were not aimed at him. Everything I said about him and his crew is on those little pictures I used to put up, me against the status quo teams. Okay? But she's staying quiet. She's not saying anything. And hold on one second here. Okay, so we're going to try it again. We're going to try it again. I'm trying to add Kevin Healy again. But all that, if they run a re-election and they allow us to run all over again, you know I'm going to get more votes. Okay, so here it is. I'm trying to add Kevin Healy again. But
okay, I can see you now.
Okay.
It doesn't, apparently it doesn't work on an Apple computer, but it does work on a phone. Okay, I can see you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, there's a lag. Two things I want to clear up. And I remember when we talked about this and I was so upset because we talked on the very next morning and you said that you were effectively swatted. And the first thing that came out of me was, if that's true, that's horrendous, and I don't support anybody doing that. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that call, but if you said that's what happened, I've talked to a lot of people, so I'll let it go. So go ahead.
That's the only reason I even knew about it, because you told me. I guess you did your post about 7. I called you because I followed up with you about our very frank discussion. We talked about unity at the meeting, and I want to make sure I wasn't too blunt. Remember we talked about that? And then you said, oh, yeah, no, you weren't too blunt, but you were more worried because the police were just at your house.
You know what? If you said that you called me, I'd have to go back and check my phone records.
Yeah, it would have been about 9-ish or something like that, because I was following through. But what I want to clarify on that, because you said that and you said, but there are no records of it. That sounded fishy. And if true, I wanted to get to the bottom of it, which is exactly what I did. To further clarify, when you said that you tried to get a hold of the chief of police over the weekend and you gave the time and everything else, I followed up like any other citizen could, because there's one of two options. And I found out that a lot of what you said was correct. Okay. But you didn't reach out to me. I sent you a text about that. Okay. But yeah, it was during your midday one that was at DOJ. Okay. But I wanted to make sure, because if that's true, it was fishy. But what we later found out was someone not associated with SEIU Local 1000 walked past your house, identified a house that was a neighbor's house, and said, in one of the houses next door, someone is screaming. That's what actually happened. And that's why none of us could find a record of a response at your house. The same lieutenant called me.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Let me respond to that right now.
Sure.
That's not accurate. First of all, when the police come to your house, if nothing happens, if nothing happened, what was called on, there is no report. That's the first thing. Second thing, second thing, the 911 dispatch call that I'm still trying to get records of, because I want to file a criminal complaint on that person who made that phone call. That's the second thing. Third thing, the police were inside my house, but they were outside my house at 5 o'clock with a flashlight.
I verified that.
Hold on a second. Let me finish what they said to me, because me and that lieutenant, we had a disagreement. They said, Richard, they said, well, they didn't say my name because they didn't know my name yet. They said, we got a call that at this residence, there's a woman screaming. At this residence. That's the words they use. And this is why I am going to have a press conference with that chief, that black man, and those two officers. Because I know what they said to me.
Did they accept?
Well, they haven't reached back to me yet. I haven't heard back from the chief yet. So they said at this residence. And so they said, could they come in? I said, well, come on in. I live by myself. And I threw my hands in the air and got my wallet. And they, looked at my wallet, and then they walked around the house.
But they asked to come in. You could have said no, right?
Yeah. Wait a minute. You're right. But as a black man in America, if I want to survive a police situation, I know what I must do. And that's why I keep saying this was an attack on my life, whoever made that call. Now you're saying, hold on, you're saying that they told you it was a person walking by. Yep. What they told me, what Lieutenant Steigerts told me was they didn't know who had called, or they could not tell me who had called. And I said, oh, you're going to tell me who called, because I'm going to file a criminal complaint against that person, because I think they're tied to Local 1000. That is what I said.
Okay.
Now, when those calls came in,
let's go on what we agree on. Okay.
Okay.
It's better. That's what I talked to you about for almost an hour on the day that you won the election. Of let's see where we can find common grounds rather than divisive grounds. The only reason I even checked into that was you were so upset around 9 a.m. or look at your phone, whatever was a call from me, you've got my number, and you were so upset about that, and I was too, if that's what really happened. It didn't make sense. So I checked it out. I was trying to do that as courtesy for you, but then you went on the attack. Be that as it may. I verified it. I didn't say that you were a liar. I didn't call your integrity into question like you have of me. I didn't do any of that. I verified something because it was fishy. When they go to places, they're supposed to have reports, and they were saying there were no reports. That was exceedingly troubling. Likewise, if they were called to your house and there was no report, that didn't make sense. So we have one of two choices. Either someone who's making it up or a bigger problem. And that's what I was trying to get to. And I was trying to share that with you. And I even invited you on that. You didn't get back to me on Wednesday. Okay. So I hope you get the answers you want. That's way out of my bailiwick. But what I found out was they said someone called on a cell phone walking by. They could identify a house which happened to be your neighbor and said, because we all can look around and some houses have good numbers, some don't, right?
Right.
Okay,
right.
So they apparently looked at your neighbor's house and said, it's the one next to X. Well, X was in the report. That's how it got that way. That's why they didn't show anything at your house. And it makes sense. As I'm constantly telling people, tell the truth. I can always deal with a bad truth better than a good lie. Okay?
So let me respond to you.
Please.
I have told the truth. And what people want to know is, why is it me as a black man, after I defeat someone who has never lost in a union election with all the advantages afforded to her as the incumbent, and the very next morning, in the current times in America that we're living in, I have the police at my door.
I can't
You
answer
can't.
that, but I was upset about it. I was livid about it, and I tried to verify it. And I hope the screen's working because it froze.
Yeah, you froze, but I hear your voice. That's why I'm looking.
Am I back? But I was so livid, I stuck my neck out on the line because if you were going to be the next president, I didn't want somebody swatting you.
And so the people who are supporting me, including my voters, they don't feel that way about you. They just don't, and I don't either. So,
well, maybe so. But go ahead. Okay, but you want to deal with the disbarment? Let's deal with the disbarment. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, something happened a long time ago. Had nothing to do with anything I've ever done in this union, and we are unraveling it right now. This is from a judge who signed out 2 sworn affidavits that everything in there was the product of fraud. This is going in front of the California Supreme Court. When you have judges signing out affidavits under penalty of perjury that this is fraud, and he has absolutely no problem with my ethics, and that the court at that time was duped, and I lost my career because of that, and I will gladly post these. Another attorney lied to the judge, tried to get a false bench warrant against me. Picture this. Everything that you're upset about right now, about somebody trying to get you arrested, she tried doing for me. I have 2 sworn affidavits by Judge Brian Van Camp. I've got the actual date. There's a 117-page pleading in front of the court that is going up right now. We've got like another 20 days. I'm going to get my ticket back. You know, it's the judge is saying, I am very aware of what happened. Let me show you. I have multiple judges working on this. They signed affidavits that this was a fraud. So what I have been doing for all these years with this union was out of my heart because I was a victim. I was a victim, and if you go to that same website and you pull up the 117-page pleading, you will see it. Yet you are using that against me. It's like double reverse discrimination on that because you went off half-cocked and you went off a little bit of information to insult me. Now,
What I did was I didn't go looking for no information on you. What I did was that information was sent to me by multiple people asking me.
Have been trying to extort me, knowing that it's false.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
I know about Flo.
Hold on a second. I did not go to investigate you. That information was sent to me, and I said, if anybody knows anything about this, reach out. You have reached out and had the courage to come on line with me, and I respect that. However, the fact those police was at my door and said, at this residence will never, ever leave my heart ever again.
Which I had nothing to do with. And if anything, I'm the only one to stand up and say what the truth was because I honestly investigated it.
No, people don't look at it like that. People look at you as questioning my integrity, and I do too.
Because you said it.
No,
because
well,
you said it. You didn't get back with me. You didn't say, hey, Kevin, why are you doing this?
No, I don't trust you, Kevin. I just don't.
I can't help
that. Well, that's right. I know you can't help it because I'm being given other information about what you're trying to do to me as well. So if you want to bring all that out, we can. Because from what I'm hearing, you're trying to gather people to do a no vote of confidence against me to run me out of office. So since you want to talk.
Absolutely not. First of all, it would be voted no confidence. The only one I'm dealing with is in our dental department because I'm helping 5 dentists do it. I don't know what you're talking about. And if you want to talk offline, we'll deal with that.
So no, we're not going offline.
It's premature.
No. We have 72 people watching. I've been told repeatedly by multiple people.
You and I are 2 of them.
Okay, my bad. So we have 68 people right now that are saying that you and others are conspiring that if I can beat the protest, if I can beat all that and get sworn in, that you guys are gathering up votes to do a vote of no confidence to remove me from office. Now, if you want to put me something in writing saying you've never had a conversation like that, and you've never talked to those other DLC presidents or other Local 1000 leaders, if you want to do that, then I want to see it. Because I kind of wonder. I just kind of wonder about that.
Well, I can't put in writing something that I can't give you a copy of that doesn't exist. But be that as it may, it couldn't even exist yet because you have to be installed as the president before anybody could even do that under the policy file. And it's a huge number. And that's why it didn't work on Yvonne. If it didn't work on Yvonne, you think I'd be part of something that wouldn't, it's just not going to work. It's not an issue. I just want this to be a fair, clean trial, is exactly as they quoted me on that, because people think that, I mean, think about this. You can, oh, Mary, just save your typing. You can go ahead, let's hypothetically say that there is a new race, then you could run.
Well, wait a minute.
You want people to vote, don't you?
Wait a minute. On your protest, from how you're, since you are an attorney, from how you're arguing, you are correct.
Really not.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. You say that you were, you say you was disbarred, but you said you were disbarred and you're trying to fight to get reestablished as an attorney.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is, from your viewpoint, you're right. But from Miguel Cordova's viewpoint, he wants me disqualified. So
that's
a
their
separate
protest, not mine.
That's right. So, you know, hey,
I could only protest mine. And I was so concerned about this because remember, we sat in the same room. And you were all like, this is wrong. And wasn't it you that the guy said one more and I'm going to send you out? Somebody was making the protest, and because it was interfering with it. And you had all these objections because you thought it was a completely flawed system. You wanted to know where those votes were. So did I. It troubled me that anybody won on something that might be flawed and should be done over to be done correctly. You were all ready until you won. And then it was like, oh, I guess it's clean now.
No, wait a minute. You have a good point. My thing is this, though. When we talked after that,
right,
and everybody was talking, I was listening to people. And Miguel Cordova sat back and he didn't say a word. So a lot of people think you and him, you guys are working on behalf of Yvonne. So you guys were put there to watch me and to watch all the information I'm going to provide, and then take my information and use it against me.
You're assuming a lot, and it's just not there.
Okay, that's fine. Listen,
because why would I spend almost an hour with you afterwards trying to come up with ways? And I said, you got here how you got here, but you have to protect all 100,000 people, and you have to be balanced on that. And we spent a lot of time talking about that.
Hold on a second. See, I'm going to catch you.
Kevin, I'm not sure. What?
No, hold on. I'm going to show you how.
Why is somebody telling me to stand up? That's really.
I can see you fine, Kevin. Here's the thing. You're saying, yeah, that's perfect. So you're saying 100,000. I'm the only person that wants everybody to vote in the union, whether they pay money or not. You are one of those people who say if you don't pay dues, you shouldn't be voting, unless I'm incorrect. But I know I'm not. So how can you say about having all 100,000 people vote when you don't even want the non-members to vote in the elections anyway?
That's not what I said. I didn't take a position on that. I said, now that you are going to be president, when we talked, I said, you have to protect everybody. Do you remember that when we were sitting out there in the lobby? And I spent a lot of time and I said, hey, you can listen to me or not listen to me. I will spend some time because I give a damn about this union. I give a damn about people. And I said, the people that don't have a voice. That's why I volunteer this time. I volunteer for this punishment. You know, and we even talked about some of the people on union lead that were trying to go out and represent folks. You know, that's what I was doing. I didn't have to be there. Believe me, I don't have to. I could go back off and I could get a promotion right now. You're all going to hear about the PERD case that's at the First District Court of Appeal that I'm going to win. I've already won at the trial judge a year ago, August. I won at the board back in April. And it's going to change the law for the entire state of California. So if a steward gets discriminated against, it's 121 pages that I can send to you. It's at the Court of Appeal. It's probably going to be finished by the end of the year. I'm going to get a promotion, back pay, and interest because I've been working at OT rates because somebody lied. So said a Superior Court judge under oath. How often do you see that? Never. Okay. My life was crushed, but I still went out and I helped people. And I was trying to help you get a good start. And when you said that the cops came to your door, I tried to give you some help on that because I wanted to find the answer. And instead of that, you made it a personal attack against me.
No, I didn't. Hold on. Let me stop you right.
People attacking.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me stop you right there.
Okay.
I like how you spin that. The fact is,
fact.
Hold on a second. Yeah, because you are spinning it. And let me say this to you. No one questioned what I said but you. You're the only one that had it to go out and say, I want to see if that call really happened. No one else questioned me. They respected my integrity. You disrespected my integrity. And what you're really telling me is, because I know you didn't support my campaign. I know this. Okay. So you can use all these words that you want. The fact that you're on video with me live, you have my utmost respect. But you can't run at me talking about you were trying to help me. No, I may be young,
Well,
but I ain't.
remember when we talked in that talk, and I said about when H.W. Bush stepped out and President Clinton came in, they couldn't have been more opposite. And I told you about that letter that he left on the desk, and he said, starting tomorrow, you're all of our president. Your success is our success. Remember when we talked about that? That's what I said to you, because I said, no, I didn't vote for you. You weren't my choice. But if you're going to lead this union, I said, surround yourself with good people. Don't be the first person to mouth off. You did not listen to that. Okay.
But first of all, wait. Stop right there. First of all, I listen to my supporters and my voters. I don't listen to you. Okay?
It didn't have to be me. I said, surround yourself with good, smart people.
Hold on, wait a minute. You did not put me in this position. Let's be quite clear. And what I've been told about what you're trying to do to me, I believe that to be factual, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. So we're not going to have an agreement on Friday night on June 11th, 2021. We're just not going to have that agreement. And that's where our union is right now. We're disagreeing with one another. People are coming for me. I've been called arse and numbnuts on Facebook. You didn't do that.
No.
Not by you. But there were job stewards who have called me this. But yet when I went after people and exposed the people for the lies and the fraud that they are, they said that I'm the one that's wrong. And I am not wrong. And I'm not backing up. And I disagree with your characterization of that you were trying to help me. You were not trying to help me. You were not trying to help me. Let me tell you something.
I could have gone home, dude.
Well, hold on, dude.
And you said you'd listen as long as I wanted to talk to you.
Hey, hold on, dude. When I told people there were cops at my door and they came in, okay, I see you. No one questioned me. You were the only one in the union that thought that you had to say something. But nobody else.
So let's clarify that. What I had trouble with is you said they were in your home, they took your name and information, and there is no record of it. That didn't make sense.
And what I'm telling you is, because nothing happened, no police report will be filed if nothing happens. Don't
you realize how much more vulnerable you would be if, in fact, they were called to your home, they ran your name, somehow they could purge the police car reports, they could purge the data entry and all that about it. That was scary to me, because I have been a prosecutor, I have been a defender, and one of two things happened. Either it was a big cover-up, actually one of three, we found out it was the third. Either it was a full-on cover-up, or you weren't being honest, or something weird happened, like it was a neighbor's home, and we found out that's what it was. But we needed to get to the truth, because I wasn't the only one thinking that. Like, don't come to your house without a report.
Wait, hold on a second. Because what that lieutenant told you is what she told me. It was the neighbor's house, because they didn't have the address to this house. What I'm telling you—
and I clarified that up front.
But what I'm telling you and what I told her, those police did not say that to me. They said at this residence.
You think that's the first time a cop didn't give you all the information?
Wait a minute. Well, okay, that's fair. But hold on a second. I don't use the word residence in my vocabulary. I say my crib, my home, my spot, my place. I don't say residence.
Well, I can't order a report for a crib, a spot.
I know. And I don't think they had their I don't know if they had their calls. What do you call it? The camcorders on. Maybe they did. I know the words that they used on me, and they came inside.
That you can get.
Because
there's a law against getting 911 tapes.
Listen, I'm going to find out who made that call. I'm going to file a complaint against them, because I think that person is tied to Local 1000. Okay. Why is it after I win this huge election and do the unimaginable against all the odds and beat this incumbent, why are the police at my door the very next day? Is that just coincidence? Just coincidence?
It may be, but here, I want to put a pin in this about the 911. So if you're going to talk to somebody that knows the rules on this, I was looking for the picture of my dog.
Okay.
Long time ago in Sacramento, I had this beautiful husky, service animal, okay? And I had a not so together neighbor that said that my dog was like biting and attacking and almost killing children. So I had to deal with animal control showing up, and they said, this is a beautiful dog. It's not hurting anybody. It responds. What I learned from that was they covet that because they want to make sure if legit people call 911, they won't be sued or threatened with arrest, whether they're right or wrong. And I fought hard to get that, and I could not get those 911 tapes of the person lying about my dog trying to kill children. So I know that as a fact because I lived through it. So I don't think you're going to get that. And if you want to get the other stuff, I will even help you with a way to get the stuff that you can get. I think that's what the lieutenant was getting at. This isn't legal advice, but I'm just telling you, I lived through that. It's almost impossible because let's say someone had gone, take it out of this town, some other town, Oxnard, and they heard someone saying I'm being raped and they call it in, but it was on TV. They don't want a legit person not calling it in. So it's public policy. It is illegal for them to give it out to protect people that call in. That's why you couldn't get it.
Kevin Healy, in the current times that we're in the current times that we are in,
right?
And we know black men and cops don't have a good relationship. I could have had my head blown off. Okay,
I wasn't there. And
I'm telling you,
and then you get to the legislatures. You deal with stuff like that. I don't know how it went down.
Wait a minute. Whether you were there or not, I had the cops in my house, and I knew what I had to do to survive. Period. And I didn't get their names and their badge numbers then. This will come out, and they did not stereotype me, and I didn't stereotype the cops, and that's why I'm still alive today.
Okay, we're getting real here. Hypothetically, if someone got it wrong that had zero to do with SEIU, would your reaction be different if she got it wrong? Maybe she said the house on the left, not the house on the right. And they had the same encounter by accident, and you say that the officers were professional, you were professional, nobody got hurt that day, and it ended. Would we be having a different discussion if someone honestly with zero contact with SEIU did that? It was a bad coincidence.
I disagree.
No, I'm asking. Wouldn't it be different? Or are you saying that you should be going against Yvonne and making these claims without any evidence?
Listen, you make a hell of an argument, Kevin Healy. I mean, you did go to law school, but what I'm telling you is
paying for it.
That's okay, because we don't stop believing. What I'm simply saying is, when I'm in the most important election in Local 1000 history and defeat this incumbent that everyone else has failed at, and I did it on my own with minimal help. And then the very next morning, I have the police at my door, and I live to tell about it because I know how to survive when a lot of other black men don't know how to survive police stops. And so the way you're talking, all these black men and women for these last few years who have lost their lives, I wish their families could hear you talking that stuff right now. Okay, I want them to hear what you have to say, and then let them hear what I have to say, and then let's see how they really feel about you and me. Okay, because you're not black. I don't care what you think. You're not black. Period.
Okay, Richard. First,
so you cannot tell me my ability over the course of my life with my interactions with police, how I've been able to survive every police stop, every time. Because if I guess wrong on one thing, I'm out of here.
It could be. Are you saying that no white person can care about the plight of the black person or change the laws?
No. What I'm telling you is this: you make a reasonable argument, but you ain't black.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you'll never
will be black.
You will
hear me out.
You will never know what it takes to survive a police stop as a black man.
Which is why I try to be an ally to change things.
You come with all your education, all your civility, I want to help you, but I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Are you going to believe anyone? Or can only a black person help you?
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Because you said in one of the tapes
that
you don't believe white people can be involved in Black Lives Matter.
Wait a minute. I said, I don't think that white people really, when they say that Black Lives Matter, I don't want to hear that from white people. Those are my exact words. So don't put words in my mouth. Okay. I know what I said. I said, when white people say Black Lives Matter, I don't want to hear that from them because I don't believe that they find me as being their equal. Okay? And so I'm doing everything I can to help everybody in this union in my public life. But in my private life, when I have the police at my door, because I think I'm suffering retaliation from the union and I'm not backing off that. Now, when I find out who that person was, If they ever verify that and that person wasn't associated with Local 1000, then I'll acknowledge that. But
I
the
hope
way
so.
you're saying, but the way you're saying, they'll never tell me who that person was. Well, then I will continue to keep saying that my union has retaliated against me. And if they
Without
want to throw,
evidence.
if they want to, I
You
don't,
have
no,
coincidence, not evidence.
no. Well, then they have to verify who called them. So you can't have it both ways, Kevin Healy.
Okay, maybe you can do this. Here's what you do is you get with the police department and get them to investigate, because you can.
I'm already doing that, Kevin. I'm on video saying I'm gonna meet this police chief
But-
and I'm gonna meet those officers and we're gonna find out who made that call.
Do you
I'm
really
already
think
on-
they're going to do that? I'm trying to give you a
Okay.
path to get the answers that you want. And if you
Okay.
want it, I will help you, because they
Okay.
could exclude it. They could do
What?
an actual criminal investigation, because what you're saying could potentially be swatting, and caveat, this is not legal advice. Okay. But
I got you.
if you allege it that way and they verify it, they can
Mhm.
verify that this had nothing to do with SEIU, because on the very first day, I went ahead and I said, if that's horrendous, and I will go against anybody that called in a SWAT on you. It turned my stomach. That's why I checked. Whether you believe it or not, that's why I checked, because it was scary, if true, that they purged all records of the visit on the day after. I agree. The coincidence sucked. It was troubling. And that's why I looked into it. And I communicated with you the next day. I tried to reach out to you. And then all of a sudden it's these personal attacks. I care about fairness. That is what this judge actually said. Okay. I'm just give me this one little moment on here. It now appears that so-and-so did not provide notice of this. I'm trying to get on the part where he says I was supposed to be returned back. Now I'll just without my glasses on, but I will share all of this. Here we go. It would appear that the incident of justice would be served by vacating the discipline, which follows, give him a new trial. I fully support Mr. Healy's return to the active practice of law. I believe that he is of good moral character, paragraph 7, and presents no danger to the public as a practicing attorney or otherwise. It appears it's chapter 7 on here. This is signed by a judge. Okay, so
Kevin,
I care about fairness. I always have, and I don't
Kevin,
want to see anybody hurt.
Kevin, I can go to the papers that were sent to me and read you their harsh words too, but I'm not going to, because here's my thing.
What papers?
You
That article?
Yeah, people were sending me multiple stuff, and I can't read through all that stuff. What I'll simply say,
Based on fraud.
Okay, what I'm simply saying is,
so said a judge that was on the case.
well, if that's the case, why haven't you been reinstated as a practicing attorney then?
Because it takes years, and I'm in the middle of it right now. And in the meantime, what I did is I volunteered my services in a place that I could legally do it through the union. I have represented numerous people. I have saved their jobs. I've done it on office technician pay because I give a damn, and I was profiled. You talk about discrimination. We all have discrimination that we go through.
Again, and I'm not going to dispute what you have done for our represented employees. What I'm simply saying is, I made those statements about the police at my residence, because that's the term they used, and I'm not backing off that. And I did not
talk.
And I did not lie. And they said at this residence. They didn't say And here's the key thing: they didn't say around this vicinity. They said this residence.
Oh, okay,
and
here's where we can agree. Here's where we can agree. You use a different language. Apparently, the person called and said, "Hey, I'm looking over there. I know that number. It's the one next door." It's the cops using the word residence. They didn't say, quote, residence. That's their speak for it. They refer to a service call. You would call it something else.
They said this residence, Kevin. You're not gonna bend me on this.
No, I'm agreeing with you. They said they pointed at the one. The person said, "I'm looking at something that I'm paraphrasing. I know the number there. It's the one next to it." So they identified your house, but by saying it's the one next to XYZ number. That's what they did. We're agreeing.
Again, after all that is said and done,
I can't keep up with these messages.
Huh?
I think people are writing to me, but I can't see it on my phone without my glasses on.
But after all this is said and done, the fact that I'm a black man in America, I win this important election that makes headlines in the state of California, to me, the #1 state in the country, the largest public sector union in California, and the police are at my door the next day, and I could have lost my life like that. You cannot make this up.
If someone from SEIU did that, I agree they should be criminally prosecuted.
Wait a minute. wait a minute. You cannot make this up. That the timing of this
Sucks.
is highly, grossly suspicious. And I'm standing by what I
Can we agree on this? Can we agree on this? Either it was a terrible coincidence or it was misconduct by someone with a union. Can we agree that those are basically the only two that could have happened? Either someone made a bad mistake or it was the union. It was one of the two. Can you agree on that?
No.
You can't agree that you can't even say that anybody
what I'm saying
could have done
what I'm saying is, after I win the largest, most important, after I win the most important election in the largest union in the state of California, mysteriously, after I've stayed at this residence since, November of 2012, I've been at this same place, my crib, all these years, and the cops have never come to my house, but yet I win this election, and I do the unthinkable, the impossible, against all odds. I feel like I'm on the 1980 hockey team.
I'm agreeing.
I did it all. Then you're at my house the very next day, and you want to sit here and act like this is just, it's not really what you think, Richard? Oh, man, please.
And that's why I verified it, because one of two things was either you were making it up or there was a problem.
But people, look. People on Facebook, even my enemies on Facebook, they may not like the things that I say. But you think I'm going to tell you about losing my life? I'm going to lie on something like that?
Well,
have you not watched the news in the last 5 or 6 years? How many black boys and girls need to die for you to wake up?
You told me that everybody.
How many black?
You didn't bring that up that day. You did not bring that up.
I'm asking you again. How many black boys and girls needs to die in this country, whether they were acting professionally or unprofessionally with the police, for you to understand that there's a situation in this country with black people and our interaction with the police? How much time do you need to understand that, attorney? How much time do you need?
Is that what happened at your home?
They came to my home and I survived the police stop. And I'm not backing off that. So we're not going to agree on this.
That's a good thing.
I think we're really done with this conversation, because you have your point, I have mine. I have to talk about these protests, and I'm gonna summarize this because I read the whole thing.
Anything you want to talk to me about the protests that we put in? Because you're bringing up what I'm saying. Do you want to clarify my?
No, you talked about your protests and irregularities, and I respect that. But I'm done. I'm done because I don't trust you. You came on. I give you your time to talk about the police call, because that's what I really wanted to talk about with you. So
give me 30 seconds more. I just want to say, if anybody with SEIU did that, I stand as I did on the very same day. They should be criminally prosecuted.
I don't believe you. I just don't.
Quote me.
I don't need your quote. I don't believe what you're saying, because I've had too many people telling me that you're trying to throw me out of the union. I don't believe not a word of what you're talking about.
I don't know how I can change that, but I verified it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Okay. So I know people say, oh, stay calm, Richard. I am very calm. We had a great conversation. What I'm telling you is I don't believe what he's telling me. I just don't. And I'm not mad. I'm not excited. I'm African American. And when we talk as black people, sometimes our voices raise up. But that doesn't mean we're mad. So understand me when I'm saying this to you. I've told you this over and over and over again. We as black people, our voices are different. We dance differently. We sing differently. We do a few other things differently. Wake up, people. See, you guys don't really know why my winning this election has so many implications on other areas. And it isn't just about Local 1000 and getting the corruption out of our union. It's about racial relations in this country. But you didn't know that because you're not thinking on the big picture, because you can't see down the road, because you're only focused on what's in front of you. And I'm focused on all of us all the way down the road long term. But you don't know that because I don't tell you that, because I don't tell you everything, because I have a strategy. You're welcome. Now, it's Friday evening. As you know, I go live, unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed. And people come on here. Let's give Kevin Healy his utmost respect. He's an attorney. I want you to think about this. The only two people that's got it in them outside of Mr. Pete Perez, and he's a pro. He is a labor man. He ain't scared of nothing. Outside of him, let's put him off to the side because he's special. Mr. Pete Perez down in Chowchilla. The only two people that got the courage to come on and get at me is Kevin Healy, an attorney, and a college debate champion. What does that tell you about me, that only the very best want to come at me. All these other so-called leaders are too afraid to deal with me, period. And that includes Miguel Cordova and all the rest of them. They don't want none of this action from me because I got the goods on them. Now, this protest, everybody wants to know, Richard, what's going to happen long term? Well, I don't know. I don't know how the protest committee feels about me personally. They say that they make their decisions is always based on the facts. I don't believe that. I just don't. And when you're put on a committee by the incumbent president and she lost, what do you think the decision is going to be? Maybe Beverly Arias, she always does those great polls, and thank you, Beverly Arias, for doing those polls on Facebook. Maybe she should run a poll. I can't do everything. People call me and say, do this, do that. No, I'm not going to do everything for everybody. Okay? And I saw the last thing about he's no attorney. He's a disbarred attorney. He says that he's fighting the attorneyship back, so he'll be recognized as an attorney. And I'm trying to give him his respect, even though I know he's against me. So even though I know people disagree with me a lot of times and people are trying to take my legs from me, I will still show them respect when they have the ability to go live with me in front of the whole audience. Because most of these so-called leaders of Local 1000 will never do it because they're hypocrites and they're liars and they've done so much dirt they can't afford to go live. And if Yvonne tells them to not go live, they won't go live either if they work for Yvonne. But Kevin Healy, he has a law degree. He's not afraid. He's used to going to courts and being a prosecuting attorney. So he's not afraid. He's well skilled. What do I have? I just have a 4-year degree in bachelor's in science and finance. But he can't tell me things that I know better on. This protest, I believe in my heart, will be okay. And even if they try to throw me out and disqualify me, we'll still be okay. We're not going to get mad. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting and fighting for justice in this union. And as the days go along, you're going to see that Richard was never lying to you. When they tell you that your money's not used on politics, that's a direct lie. That's a direct lie. See, if I beat the protest and they swear me in, I'm going to expose it all. I want you to think about this. I'm going to expose everything. And they think they can throw out everything where there's nothing left to be found. But when I do these videos every day and I educate you and I tell you that these truths are evident, that we do use your money on politics, but we're going to stop that. And then you're going to see how they keep attacking me. And that's why they're sitting their very best. They're sitting their very best to get at me one way or another. That's what they're doing. I mean, think about this. When have you seen anybody in this union over all these years be talked about more than me? Not even the former president, Jim Hart. When have you seen someone dominate the headlines like I have? You haven't. Because no one has ever really, told the truth about our union. And that's why I'm here. And this is my divine destiny. And here's the funny thing. If they do want a re-election, they know they have to disqualify me. Because if they don't, you realize that those 2,637 votes that I received, it's going to go way above that next time. Because everybody knows who I am. And now everybody wants to vote. So they can't really afford to do a re-election for the presidents and not have me in it. They really can't afford to do that. So they know they have to disqualify me because I'll win again. But this time I'll win. Hold on, y'all. Stop texting me. I will win in a much larger number. And that's going to embarrass not just Yvonne Walker. That's going to embarrass the other candidates too. And here's the other thing. What if they did a re-election and they didn't disqualify me and I had to run all over again? You think MTC would say, okay, we're not going to run? You think Tony Owens is going to step out? Miguel is going to step out? See, all these different things are at play. And I'm taking my time and I'm talking to you tonight. And when I was talking to Kevin Healy and people thought I was getting excited, no, I was sending him a clear-cut message. Don't try to use no legal terms on me when my life was on the line. I don't want to hear that. You can try that with somebody else. You ain't going to try that stuff with me. But I'm really showing you the strength that I have to fight to get you at 200% pay increase. That's what I'm really showing you. He couldn't break me. We were not going to agree. And I stood my ground. He stood his ground. We had some little agreements on little parts of the story. But his life was not on the line. My life is on the line. And every day people call and tell me they're praying for me and that they're worried that something's going to happen to me. Let me tell this to everyone. If I die trying to help this union, so be it. If I die trying to help this union come together and to get you your money and protect you and your families and get you secure contracts so that you will never, ever lose money ever again while under a signed contract, then let me die. That's all I got to say. Let me die. I'm done. Have a great weekend. You may see me tomorrow or Sunday. I don't know, because I do things sporadically. You never know what I'm going to do next. But you came, you listened, you gave me your time on Friday evening. I love you. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for even putting me in this position to even have a conversation with you. It's been a true pleasure, and we'll talk soon. I'm Richard Lewis Brown. Today is June 11th, 2021, and we are still the #1 country, in my mind, on earth. And this is, with all respect to my home state of Missouri, this is the #1 state in the nation, the state of California. It is truly, I don't have my gold chain on, but it's truly golden. All right, I love you. Bye-bye.